What is up? Welcome to the channel. It's a different video for me. I bought a 1994 BMW 325i. I picked it up pretty cheap. It's a pretty clean car. It's like a one-owner car. Alright, just doing a walk around on the car, we can see that the back window is missing out of the convertible top. When I picked this up, the top was already down. I was able to manually put the top up, and trunk's locked. That's great. But you can see by the inspection on the license plate that it hasn't been on the road since 2013, or at least that's the last time it was inspected. Appears to have a factory exhaust, so nothing's been messed with there. That's nice. It's got factory wheels. Interior's mostly all here. I've got door panels I bought at the junkyard I need to put on. I do need to do something about that armrest, and I need to fix the radio situation. We'll get to that, but let's check this thing out. So, initial turnkey, you can see it's got 127,000 miles. Everything on the dash is lighting up, that's good. Radio's working. That's surprising considering how far out it's hanging, but before we start cranking on it and stuff, unfortunately it does have the automatic transmission. Not great, but also not the worst. At least it's not a 4-cylinder. So we'll go up under the hood here. Oh, look at that, the hood struts work. So it is pre-OBD2, so it's an OBD1 car. Tell by that plug right over there. And then it's got the big manifold with the magnesium valve cover. I think the cover for this is actually in the trunk of the car. But I'm going to pull this valve cover off, and I'm going to clean it up, repaint it, put a new gasket on it, and throw it back on. I bought a few things here and there for this, like I got an oil change kit, a transmission flush kit with the filter. Sorry, the wind's picking up. Unfortunately, I probably will hear that, but it's actually about the storm here, which is kind of nice because it's been so hot and I've been not wanting to film anything because of the heat. But it's crazy to see this as factory. It looks like it had a radiator replaced at some point because somebody put clamps, different style clamps on it. It still has the original intake. That's surprising to me. The ECU cover and everything's still there. That's also surprising. I mean, for the most part, it's all original. I'm actually shocked at how much of this car is still original. Like I said, I've got door panels to put on it and stuff. But let's pop the trunk and see what we have in the trunk. Okay, so what do we got back here? We have a brand new battery, Die-Hard battery too. Those are great batteries. If you're going to buy one, buy Die-Hard. That's my personal opinion. Looks like we got a newer style emblem. The one on the front of the car is bad, so that's great. We got a spare DME for some reason. And a mirror. I don't know, is the one on this car missing? It is missing. Okay, well, that explains where the mirror is at. What else we got? We got some... these look like the cubbies for the door panels. The previous owner said this is for the car. It goes to the car. He says it's to take out the shock, or the jack points. Okay. A floor jack that doesn't go to this car, because this would be the jack that would go to this car. So I don't know what this jack is for. Some kind of cubby for something. I'm not sure what that goes to. Door lock covers. That one's busted. That one's still intact. We might hang on to that one as a spare. Not bad. When I got this car, actually, just a quick recap. Sorry to do a bunch of talking. But we're going to be fully, fixing this car up and getting it going again. And I'm going to do it all in this one video. It's not going to be split up. But I had to replace the door lock on this because the previous owner replaced it, but he didn't swap the tumbler over. So the key didn't work, which kept setting the safety alarm so that the car wouldn't unlock. That was a big problem. So I fixed that. Also replaced the door stops because they were broken. And I still need to do the one on the other side. We'll add that in the video. We'll do that. We got some cassettes. What do we got? Who we got? Best of Roy C. Garbage. Trash. D'Angelo. Mint condition. Okay. And energy efficient and anti-resonance resonance. I'm an idiot. Digital multimeter. Maybe we'll find that in the car. Probably unlikely. We got full-size spare. Not bad. Not too bad. Looks like it's never been out of there. Here's our engine cover with a squeegee and some rag top cleaner. Cool. Golf ball. Tilfius? Ah, Tilfius. Alright, well, that's going to be everything. I think this is... I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to say stuff. I don't know a whole lot about these cars. I've never owned an E36 before. This is the first one. Toolkit has some parts. This is the screwdriver, the pliers, and the Allen key. Although this car may not have come with that because it didn't have a sunroof. Alright, well, we're done under there. Looks like it's probably going to rain soon. Alright, due to the inclement weather that is going to hit, and the fact that this doesn't have a back glass, we're going to fire it up and pull it in the garage. Look at that, fires right up. Check engine lights on, flashing lights going on. I'm sure that's great. I'll turn that off. So, just to recap, I already figured out why this car didn't drive and why it ran poorly. Well, for one, it kept going into security mode because of the whole DME issue, and I assume that's why there's a spare one in the trunk, because they couldn't figure out what was going on. So I fixed all that already, and the transmission issue was it was too low on fluid, believe it or not, because these transmissions are known to do that. They start to leak and they leak out fluid, and then they get too low for the automatic to work. So I've already solved that, and I am actually going to attempt to keep this automatic. Most people manual swap these, but I'm not interested in that because it is a convertible, and really the only people who want to buy convertibles don't really want a manual. They would like it to be auto, and I don't blame them. So we got to pull it in the garage. We'll shut it off now because I don't want the engine to be hot. I got a lot of work to do on it. We're going to start by getting that valve cover off. We need to get that resealed. It has an awful oil leak at the valve cover. It also has a really bad oil leak at the transmission I need to figure out. I'm hoping it's just a pan, but I'm fearful it's going to be a front like tail shaft seal, or not tail shaft seal, front input shaft seal. And if that's the case, then it means the transmission has to come out, and I don't really want to do that. See, after just a couple minutes of it sitting there, it's already leaked onto my driveway, so it's got a pretty bad leak we need to fix. Alright, so we got our new gasket here. Victor Rines, one of the best companies to make gaskets. Felpro is also a good company, but this is a company I use all the time. I've used them for head gaskets on Volkswagens, and I haven't had an issue yet, so I continue to use them. Pull our covers off. We're missing 210 millimeters. Maybe we can get to the rest of these bolts, and then we got to get all these quill packs off. These look like they're also 10s. Yeah, I'm actually impressed. I'm not seeing a bunch of oil all over these. It means the tubes in the center aren't leaking, but I know the gasket is leaking because it's leaking straight under the exhaust while it's running, which is not good. So I got 8 millimeters to get the wiring harness disconnected, and then we'll be able to hopefully just lift this up and flip it over out of the way. It's really nice that it still has all the original plastics for the coils. It's kind of rare. Now we got the 10 millimeters all the way around. This way we'll be able to see into the engine too and see how bad it looks. I'm not worried. That one's going forever. Let me get a magnet. I lost the washer. You know, now that I think about it, dang. I didn't get new ones with the gasket. I thought it would have came with those. Well, I can change those without having to change the whole thing, so that's not the end of the world. There we go, she's free. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see how bad it looks under this thing. I had good high hopes. Oh yeah, it looks really good in there actually. Okay. See, this has got some good old gunk built up on it. We're going to clean this up. So much of a difference. As you can see, it looks a million times better than it used to. If you're interested, so if you're wondering what paint I use, it's VHT Wrinkle Plus. You can get this at pretty much any auto parts place, or I just ordered it on Amazon because I was too lazy to go pick it up. But this stuff works great. Now I'm going to wipe down all these O-rings and get those all placed in. I'm going to have to replace all the O-rings, but that's something I can do at a later date. That doesn't have to be done right there. I also masked off the inside of all the holes so that there's no paint that was down in there. As you can see, like all the screws and stuff, they're not painted. I masked all those off too. So let's get this all hooked back up. I almost forgot to do the main spark plug gaskets, so we're going to throw these on too real quick. That would have been real bad. There's a specific set they go, like they have a cutout. The cutout has to go where the stud would be, which is on the outsides. There we go. Alright, so we got the new valve cover on, wires are all ran again. I need to do that glass ground strap on the end, and while I'm in here I might as well do the spark plugs, so let's get those out. Looks like it's got champions. Oh, did I not loosen that one? Champion iridiums. Oh, come on. All of them look pretty good actually. What's happening here? Oh, it's kind of gross looking. Alright. We're putting some NGKs in there. I don't know why I had iridiums in there. I guess maybe someone leave me a comment. Let me know if iridiums are good for these, because I was told that they should have a copper. So I got some NGK copper cores. I think they're copper. Oh no, these are nickel. I'm sorry. NGK are BKR6Es. So leave me a comment if I'm putting the wrong plugs in here. Look at that. It's like a complete engine again. So we got new plugs, new valve cover gasket. We cleaned up all the bolts and painted it to make it look good. So I think I got a filter for this thing. Right here. Bosch filter. OEM. Grab that filter out of there. Yeah, this filter was pretty gross. Yeah, thing. Never hurts to have a nice fresh air filter, man. Never hurts. Let the car breathe, man. Let it breathe. That's all she wants. She just wants to breathe. Why is that so tight all of a sudden? You really wanted that new filter. Alrighty. Nice. I think I'm gonna call it a night there. It is pitch black outside. There are so many mosquitoes, I don't even want to have my door fully open, and it's making it so hot in here. So I still got tons of parts to put on. We got transmission fluid to do, the oil, which the oil in this thing looks really good. I should probably ask the previous owner if he changed it recently or something. And we got rear differential fluid. This is a transmission filter, oil filter, that's the rear diff fluid. And then this is all that's my oil for the engine, and then I got transmission fluid in here too somewhere. Oh, I think transmission fluid's in the bags. Yeah. Vexron 3, which is the recommended for this car. So we got all that. I still gotta put those door panels on right there. So I want to put this door panel back on, but I have one major issue, and that's the clips for this door. These guys all have to come out. Looks like I need 2 of them for this door panel, and then I just need to get rid of the rest of them. Kind of a pain to take off. You have to like pry the edges off, and they come out like that. These are what hold the top of your door panel on and your seal for the window. Oh, I just realized I have to swap my speakers over because this has different style speakers, and I didn't notice that before, but these have different plugs than what this car comes with. This car just has these weird, so I'm gonna have to swap those over. That sucks. I'll be back. Let me swap those real quick. I am not gonna swap my door speaker out. Unfortunately, they are different speakers and different sizes, so I can't do that. So what I'll have to do is get adapter harnesses to run these newer style speakers, and that shouldn't be too big of a deal, but for now we'll still put it all together, and we'll take that back off when we get adapters. I still got to figure out the radio situation anyway, so I don't even have like an antenna adapter yet for that aftermarket radio we found. I don't know why someone just like plugged these into each other. I don't know if you're supposed to plug them in when you're... That seems... I guess it would loop it? I don't know. It was plugged in when we got it, so we'll just plug them back in and hope that it doesn't mess anything up. I think we're good. Now I need my little trim for my door handle. Alright, I'm gonna put 2 screws in there, and then we are good. I don't really like the way that door lock feels, but I guess as long as it don't stay locked, it'll be alright. Nice. Alright, cool. I was only able to find 1 screw that fit. The other one doesn't fit, but it feels loosely in there, but like I guess it's in there. So we have the little door pocket for the back. This little guy should go in here, I think. Yep, there we go. Alright, so I don't know where the little push parts are for this. They were missing, and so was the one off the car I found in the junkyard, unfortunately. So, driver's side door panel's done though. Let's move over to the passenger side. Oh, actually, before I go, I got to do this this door sill down here too. This part's just missing. I don't know why, but I got some at the junkyard. Not in the greatest shape, but having some is better than having none. So we're going to attempt to try and slide this back on. I think it's probably going to be easier if I just take the clips off and slide them into this. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to snatch these clips out of here. We have most of them out. 2 left. It looked like they were replaced at some point, because they're not just like falling apart. We gotta slide them into these channels. So you see these broken all the time because when doors can't open, like when the DME or whatever starts to go bad on these, people just rip the door panel apart. And in doing so, they usually rip this apart as well. So it's pretty common to see these all busted up. But I think it goes over the trim on this one. I'm not a BMW expert, so by all means, feel free to tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comments. All right. What we got going on here? Why are you not clipping in? What's happening? I don't want to break it, but you gotta like give it a good tap to get it to clip down in there. Alright, there we go. Alright, one side down. Starting to look like a complete car again. Now let's go do the other side. It's a little more shade over there. I do this in my garage, but it's full of junk, so it's really hard to have the doors open all the way up. Nice. Should probably put the rear windows down, but so I actually forgot. I still need to change the door striker on this side. It's completely broken off and just gone. Forgot all about it. I bought a new set of these at the Junkyard. Well, I won't say new set. I bought a used set of these at the Junkyard. I'm gonna have to cut the zip tie. This way I can get it out without it falling down. If it falls down in there, you are screwed. I may have to put the window up too, I can't remember. So just remember when you're putting these in, I just took it off and it had the big loop on the top. Typically, you take one of these apart and you forget. Like where it's the dirtiest is going to be the top side. So that's clean on the bottom. It's because junk falls down. That's the way gravity works. So we got our brand new one. Brand new BMW factory original brand new part. See on the logo there. So we got to feed this in. Then after we feed it in, then we have to guide it up through this hole and then bolt it in. It is actually a lot trickier than it sounds. And on the other side, I didn't even film it because I was getting so frustrated with it. Oh, it was so bad. And I wish I had, the other side I had the whole window out. I wish I had done it when I had the window out, but I didn't. So you have to like feed it through. It's very tricky, man. If you end up doing this on your own car, just know that I told you it's very tricky. Just remember that, because it sucks. And then even after you feed it in, you still got to remember which way it goes up. Just know that the curve of the door goes like this, not the other way around. Otherwise, you'd be there all day trying to figure out what you did wrong. That one was a lot easier than the other side was, that's for sure. You can see the door's a little mangled right where this one bolts up, so it looks like it took a bit of a hit. Maybe someone had the door open and backed up, or someone had the door open and a car hit the door or something. I don't know. There's no reason for that door striker to be that, or this section of the door to be all bent up like that, and for the door striker to be snapped off. I mean, it's a freaking piece of steel. Why is it snapping off? If you notice the little spider egg sac there, those are my friends. I like spiders. Spiders eat ants, and ants like convertibles. So spiders can stay in convertibles all they want. They belong here. Alright, so the next part, to not freaking forget, because I have, is this stupid rubber piece. I had to take it all back apart after I put it all together. So it goes on with the thing like this, I think, right? Or is it like this? No, it's like this. Okay. So just make sure you put that on first, because that's then going to attach to the piece that attaches to the car. And here's our pin. So now we can let the door come. And tap this pin down in there. I don't even think I need the chisel for this. I just need to... Boom! Then we'll take our rubber, put it back like this. Keeps all the grime out. And boom, we have a door stop. Make sure it functions. Oh yeah. That's the first stop. And then the second stop. Let's go. BMW restoration. It's my specialty. Even though I've only ever owned 2 BMWs. Alright, so we're up under the car trying to figure out where this transmission leak's coming from, because this is why it won't drive. And I thought it was going to be the whole pan or the input shaft or something. Looks like the whole front of the trans is dry, so that's really good. That makes me happy. And it looks like it's just leaking out of this drain plug right here. Alright, so we got our pan here cleaned out. We're going to drop this drain plug. Oh, that didn't feel tight at all. Maybe that's all that was wrong, just had a loose drain plug. Also weird that they have a drain plug in the transmission. But I mean, it's clearly leaking out of there. Like, you can see the river running up to the front. I mean, there's some over here too, but I think this might be from when I topped it off to get it, to make sure it was running. Because like the transmission was the issue, like it was low on fluid. That's why it wouldn't drive. That's why the guy sold it to me so cheap. So the fluid's not gonna look bad because, oh wow, there's like nothing in there. Interesting. I filled that up. So where did all that fluid go? Granted, I filled it up not warm. So probably everything I put in it went into the torque converter, if I had to guess. Huh. That's crazy that it leaked that much out of it. Alright, well, that's probably why it doesn't leak as much anymore, because there's barely any freaking fluid in it. So we'll let that drain. We'll clean up the surface there. We'll look for a crush washer for that drain plug and see if we can get this fixed. Alright, so this is the drain plug. It'll focus. This is the washer that came off of that, and boy, come on, focus. That washer is mangled. I promise you I did not do that damage. It was like that. So I don't know if someone pulled it off or what, but I got a brand new one. Fits on there perfectly. We're gonna put that back in there, clean it up, and put fluid back in it. Alright, so we are back under the car. And I got some brake cleaner. But I want to get the drain plug in there first and then get my oil out from under there. I may not be reusing this oil, depends on how good it looks. Let's get up in there with the drain plug. Hopefully this one will seal up. Oh yeah. Alright. Get our lack of oil out of here. Looks like nothing in that pan. Give a little bath. A little auto parts store bath. And this way we'll be able to see if it continues leaking. You're supposed to fill these up, get them up to operating temperature, and then pull the drain or the side fill plug up on the side and make sure that it's only dribbling out at operating temperature. So that'll be fun. Let's get to that part now. I think this one's a 17 for the side. So this is what came out. This is all that came out. It's like not even enough to cover the bottom of the pan. How did this thing drive? Am I crazy? Like, I drove this around the block a couple times. How did this drive? Where's all the fluid? Where's it going? Where's the fluid going? Someone explain to me. This magical car, man, the light pollution is bad right now. Where's the fluid going? So I guess I do have to pump my own fluid in it, because there ain't none of that left. To be honest with you, I did buy the stuff to do the filter and all new fluid, so I think I'm just going to drop the pan anyways and just put the new fluid in, because the fluid that came out, and that I put 2 or 3 quarts into it, that fluid was real gross, real bad. So whatever's in that pan is not going to be good for it. Whatever's already clogging up that filter is not going to be good for it, so I might as well just do it. I might manual swap this car anyways, but at least I can do this, feel good about driving it, because I don't feel good about just throwing this in there and hoping for the best. Also, if the transmission turns out to be good, I can sell the transmission, you know, for a couple $100 to somebody who needs a new automatic. Alright, so we got our pan and filter out. That fluid does not look too good, and you can see tons of metal or clutch material all over this filter and all over the inside of the pan. So we'll get this drained out, see if there's a magnet in there, and see how the magnet looks. Also got to get this gasket off. I was going to attempt to reuse it, but I already broke it, so we'll see. I may still reuse it because I don't have one. I couldn't find one. I don't know why. I couldn't find like one available for some reason. Alright, so the gasket, that's a no-go. We're just going to have to RTV the pan back on. Whatever. Been there, done that. The magnet looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of metal on it, but nothing like super crazy. Not unusual for transmission with over 100,000 miles on it. So I'll get this cleaned out. We'll clean up the surface where it goes back on, and we'll bolt her back up. I don't see any stress cracks. I don't see any metal. I just see clutch material, and that is fine for a super old car. Technically, I should put the fluid back in, but I don't want to. Alright, so we got our pan all cleaned out, magnets all cleaned off. This is nice because the magnet actually comes off. It's not glued to the pan. That's really convenient. We got that. We'll get this RTV'd up, let it get a little nice and tacky, and we'll go under the car and clean the pan up before we get ready to put this back on. I also got to put the new filter on, and I got to clean off the gasket for the old filter because it's supposed to be stuck right there, but it's not, so it must still be up on the transmission. And we don't want to double gasket it because then we'll just definitely smoke the trans. So we got the pan up in there. I'm running out of time. I'm not going to be able to fill this up. Also, I need to let the pan RTV dry before I fill it up. I don't want to fill it up while the RTV is still wet. I need to give it time to cure. So I'll probably end up taking the Miata tonight just because it's a convertible. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I did want to drive this tonight, but I don't want to take a chance in it giving me issues on the road. And also the two front tires are so badly dry rotted, I can see the air pressure inside of them. So how bad these tires are. The rear aren't bad. The front are terrible, so I don't want to drive it like that. Alright, so I don't know if I should be proud or ashamed of this contraption I got going up with a bag and magnets holding this up. Going up to my fluid pump that doesn't work anymore. So at least I'm using it still. And then we come from the fluid pump on up to this homemade funnel device that is, you know, high quality products. So now we can pour the transmission fluid in there and gravity feed into the transmission. So I'm going to attempt this. Oh! I think we filled her up. Definitely fill her up. And now we're just puking fluid everywhere. Let's see if we can catch this fluid. Alright, so now that we got the transmission fluid up to par, it's probably actually a little bit overfilled, which is what I want, because I need it to suck the extra up into the torque converter, and then we'll have to go back through and recheck it. But let's get her up to operating temperature now. Oh yeah, she's a runner. She's got a flashing check engine light there, or check something. I don't know what that is. It's not the check engine light. I don't know what that is. Someone tell me in the comments. Also, it's saying the fuel tank is empty, so that's great news. And just test it out. Put it in the. I guess we'll try reverse first. Oh, parking brake's up. Fix that real quick. Now what? Oh, we got reversed. Those rotors sound terrible. Alright, we'll put her in drive. Oh yeah, we got drive. Okay. We're gonna let her sit here. I'll leave it in park. We're gonna let her sit here and warm up, get up to operating temperature, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we're taking her for our first cruise. I got it in first. Second. Oh, shifted, okay. Third. Oh, it's not going in the third. We'll just see what drive does. Oh, it shifted, okay, okay. Folks, it's driving. Spin around up here. Well, it's not wanting to downshift. It's either slipping real bad. Yeah, the transmission's not happy. I probably don't have enough fluid in it. But that's alright, we can add more fluid. I wonder what would happen if I mat it. It would immediately jump out of whatever gear it was in. Alright. Yeah, so fluid level probably has to be higher. The car is not happy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it don't want to go up my driveway. Poor car. We will figure that out later because I'm hungry and I want some breakfast. So I'm gonna park it for now and then we'll come back to this after I eat. Alright, so as you can hear, not running very healthy, and I'm pretty sure this vacuum line right here is just falling apart. You can see it's I sprayed brake clean on this end and on the other end where it attaches under the manifold, and it revved up. So obviously I have a vacuum leak at this line, so I need to replace this line before I continue to let it run, because it just isn't healthy the way it's running. And I was trying to let it get up to operating temperature, which it's at operating temperature now, but I need it to be running good at operating temperature when I check this transmission. And I don't really want to be under the car while it's sitting here shaking like this. Alright, so we pulled the hose off and you can see where it's just like falling apart at the end here. I mean, look how just, I'm barely squeezing this, man. Let me just show you how bad this hose is. You just kind of like push it in on the plastic and it just kind of like morphs. That's how soft this thing is, it's bad. And then so it's leading all the way up to the intake here where you can see it's been like electrical taped back together, not healthy. And then I found this. Hello. So I think we know why it's running a little rough. We'll have to get this taken care of. I'm gonna have to find a new hose, see if I can find maybe an aftermarket intake or something. I don't know. I don't really want to swap the air box out. I'd like to keep everything as factory as I can. So I'll have to see if I can find another intake, because this one is not, I mean, I'm sure I can cobble something together to make this work, but it ain't gonna be long term, and I'm not gonna feel good about selling it like that, so we're gonna have to fix that issue. We also got a problem with this connector down here. You can see it's, the hose is just split, so we're gonna have to fix that as well. And I think that'll be it under here. I think you see any other vacuum lines like falling apart? Not yet anyways, but I'm pretty sure that's what our running problem is. So we're gonna have to figure something out with that. Maybe just a temporary solution for the time being, just so I can get the car to run and figure this transmission situation out. Alright, so we got a vacuum light here, and we have one at the thing underneath here, which I believe is the IAC, so it's just sucking in unmetered air right there, but it's causing it to run better, so this will be a temporary solution for now, so I can test run it while I track down a new intake. I tried to grab this one. This is off my E36. Not going to work. So, yeah, the 90, it's not a 90 degree, and the pipe's not big enough. I guess E46s have smaller mass airflows. I didn't know that, but so we'll figure that out. But for the time being, now I have a way to actually run the car so I can get this transmission up to temperature and actually properly check the fluid level. All right, we are under the transmission again for like the 15th time. Yay! And I got the drain plug out. Nothing's coming out, or not drain plug, the fill plug, sorry. Nothing's coming out of the transmission, so we are going to attempt to put more in it, because obviously we don't have enough. This drain plug back in now. Alrighty, we are done under here, so let's see if this thing drives now. Alright, so I took it on its first test drive. I put some fuel in it, found out the fuel gauge was not working at all. But I finally figured out this door lock situation. So, this door lock, you would like unlock it and it would just immediately relock. Okay? It's this thing. It's like getting stuck partially up going down the road. It's like that. And you unlock it, and it immediately relocks. So it's this. Push this down, and then come back over here, unlock it, it stays unlocked. So that's what that stupid problem is. And I realized I forgot to plug in the passenger side door lock actuator, because that was part of the issue. I couldn't get that one to stay unlocked to save my life, so I just unplugged it. But now I got the freaking door panel back on, and it's still unplugged. I forgot about it. So that's my mistake. Unfortunately, I'll have to take the door panel back off, just or plug that back in, or leave it for now and figure it out later. But it did it good on its first test drive. I did have to unplug the mass airflow, because the vacuum leak it has right now, just driving, I just couldn't operate the vehicle like that. So I unplugged the mass airflow so I can actually take it for a test drive, make sure it's all good. It does seem to have a pretty bad oil leak now that will have to be fixed, because I was filling it up at the gas station. Yeah, you can see the cardboard. There's a puddle. Yeah. So we'll keep catching that, and we got to pull off the belly pan under there and see what's going on. I also want to clean these headlights up, and I got new fog lights I want to put in. Yeah, it's coming along. What a project. Alright, so I'm trying to get you a good view down there. There we go. That's my leak right there. That is the dipstick. And it looks like it's leaking at what's supposed to be the O-ring that goes into the top of the pan down there. Camera doesn't want to focus on it, but yeah, that's my major oil leak on this car. And that is a simple fix. I was really dreading it being the oil pan, because you gotta drop the whole subframe. But yeah, not too bad. So we'll get a dipstick. I think it's just an O-ring on there. So we'll buy the O-ring for that dipstick. And yeah, not too shabby. Now I'm gonna work on seeing if I can pop these fog lights out and put the brand new ones in I got. There we go. Yeah. Alright, now I need to clean out this connector, because it's been disconnected for about 20 years. Show you real quick. This connector is filthy. So I'm going to clean that out, and then we'll plug it in, but fog light's in there. Nice. Alright, so we found this 1993, and we found a intake boot. It's got a little bit of a crack on the bottom there, but the boot's for the most part okay, so I may try to repair that with some RTV and a hose clamp or something. But at least this is somewhat usable. Yeah, in better shape. So another 325i. This one's automatic, and the intake's already gone. Just kidding, I already took the intake. Alright, let's go see what else they got here while I'm here. This yard usually has a good amount of stuff. Let's see. Sometimes you can get lucky and come see what they're getting ready to put out on the yard that hasn't been listed yet. I like to check these G35s. See if they have a manual. Nope. No manual. This is cool. Passat wagon. It's an FSI car. And it's got roof racks on it. Cool color. Interesting. What in the world? Detroit Ninja Riders. Interesting. I'll pull you back out if I see anything interesting. Almost forgot I needed the adapters for the speakers. So I got that, the headrest, and then the intake boot. So got some good parts to use on our car. Alright, so I got a Junkyard mass airflow because of this one. If it'll focus, maybe get it out of the light. I don't know why it's not focusing. There it goes. So this one was having issues. Like, there's supposed to be a grate right here. It's completely busted out. And then this side is completely melted for some reason. So I got a new mass airflow. Well, Junkyard mass airflow. I also got the boot. And we redid the vacuum line here. This has been replaced. And I also pulled the dipstick out and got that resealed. The O-ring just wasn't installed correctly. And the engine was 2.5 quarts over full of oil. So that's fantastic. I don't know why people are overfilling oil, but it is what it is. So we got that taken care of, and I can finally start this up and see if it's leaking anything and see how it's running with everything hooked up now. Alright, so I still got to swap the steering wheel out and move the seat back down. So you can see just the brake pad light sensors on. The only thing that's bothering me under here now is the fuel gauge not working. So I would like to diagnose that and see what's going on. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the seat situation. And we gotta get to the fuel pump over there. I think it's Phillips heads. Yeah. So I got 4 Phillips heads I gotta get to. And I want to make sure that it's not just like a wire off or the wire's backwards or something. I don't know what's going on there, so let me figure that out, because I think the kid before me replaced that. Alright. A good spot to lose them. Let's see what we got going on under. Oh yeah, look at this. So I hate to see that. I hate when I see monkeyed with stuff. These pins are just like, I think they were connected, but not very well. It's definitely a new fuel pump though, so that's good. I'm going to have to pull up a diagram to see which pins are supposed to go where on this. And we'll figure that out, see if that's all that's wrong, or if it needs an actual sending unit. It shouldn't if it has a brand new pump. Alright, so we got that out, and boy does that fuel tank look pretty gross, and the gas smells real bad. It's probably good enough to run on, but I got the fuel pump out here. It's on my manual transmission I got in case I need to swap it. It looks like it was replaced. There's a little corrosion up inside the contacts there. So, I don't know why my camera's been struggling to focus today. There we go. So I'm gonna have to, yeah. I'm gonna have to do a little diagnosis on this and see what's going on. I'll have to ohm this out and see if it's getting some kind of messed up reading or something. Alright, so I got it on ohms. I got it set up on the contacts. And I'm just kind of adjusting the arm here and making sure it's dropping, which it is. So the sending unit is functioning. So I don't have a sending unit problem. I'm gonna retest this, but at the top of the pins, up inside, the connector, to make sure they're not corroded and it's not sending anything through. And then after I confirm that, I'll put all this back in there, because this is going to be fine. Then it's going to be an issue with either the wiring harness, or we're going to have an issue with something wrong with the gauge in the dash. Alright, so with the hooked up, it is functioning. So when I lift the arm, I don't have 3 arms, so I can't really show you, but with it up, the voltage was changing. So we'll set it maxed out. So the voltage is going up. So sending unit is functioning. We have to figure out what's going on with either the wiring or with the gauge cluster. Okay, I'm a goober. Before I even started testing anything, I just Googled it to make sure, and I didn't even realize there was another fuel pump set up over here. So I gotta pull this side off because this one clearly hasn't been changed. And I just tested it out, and we have nothing. It is reading nothing. But if I go into here on the sensor, it is picking up. So apparently these are wired in series, and what happens is one goes bad, then you get no measurement at all. So I gotta pull this one off and see what's going on inside here. I assume the sending unit's probably completely rusted apart. Alright, so not only is this one completely fallen apart, this side of the fuel tank is completely empty, which I don't know how that system works, so that could be a good thing, so we don't have a completely full fuel tank of bad gas. But you can see the sending unit is cooked. I mean, the float is not even on it, and someone did a really sketchy repair and just like JB welded it back together. So I don't even know if that's JB weld. It's like silicone or something. So we're gonna have to get a new sending unit, because this is just not gonna work. That's unfortunate, but at least there's no gas in there. So yeah, that sucks. I have to figure out a way to seal that back up in the meantime while I'm waiting for the sending unit to come in, because I don't want my garage smelling like fuel, and I can't park this car outside. So, oh well, we'll figure this out. Alright, so we got a new fuel pump. Oh, sorry, not a fuel pump. We got a new fuel sending unit and a seal. Sending unit's complete. It's a OEM. Technically it's not OEM, I guess. It's made by VDO, which is like OEM spec, I guess. I don't know. It's the same brand that the fuel pump on the other side is. So we're going to throw this in and throw the new seal in and put all this back together so it doesn't smell like fuel in my garage anymore. I had to wait a few days for this to come in. I had to order it online. I couldn't find anywhere locally that had it for a reasonable price, man. I don't know why this fuel sending unit is like more than double what the fuel pump on the other side that comes with a fuel sending unit is. And that's real annoying. So we got this. Let's get this back apart and install this in the car. got it powered on now, and we have half a tank of fuel. Let's go. That gives me a great feeling. All right, so we are done back here. We can put this all back together, and just like that, we're done with the back of the interior. Now I want to swap these headrests. I'm just gonna set you down here. We will yoink that sucker off of there somehow. Pretty sure it's supposed to just pull off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got that side off. Get that other side. I got some folding ones that are in better shape. These ones are folding too, but these ones are in kind of crappy shape. So we got some better ones. And these ones fold a little easier. They're a little bit darker, but I like this style. A little smaller style headrest than these big old chunky boys. These are, look how bigger those are. I mean, I guess they're alright, but they're just like falling apart. Not in great shape. See if I can get the other one from over here. Oh man. Oh, it's so hard. I can't get an angle on it. Step up in here. Oh. Just stand on my perfect interior. Yeah, there we go. This one's got some, needs to be cleaned off. The back of it's kind of gross. Let's go. Now I'm stuck in the car. Okay. Alright. Just leave these ones in the back for now. They'll probably go with the car when I get rid of it. So someone can have the matching. Color's not that bad off, but it ain't great. The color between this one and this one are completely different. And it looks like there's blood splatter on that. We're gonna hope it's not. And that one's just like completely falling apart there. So, actually, will these? Huh. Wonder if these big old ones will fit back here. They're kind of weird, but you know, realistically, they look like the front ones. Huh. Whatever. I think I have one good one of these somewhere. I don't know where I put it. It's in one of these boxes somewhere. But alright, we're done with the interior for now. We got our new fuel pump in. I can go throw this thing away now. I was hanging on to it in case, you know, for some reason I couldn't get a replacement, but this thing was pretty junk, so I'm gonna go throw all this away now. And we're done with the fuel pump. I feel great, man. Can't believe it works. Let's go. Alright, so I'm gonna start on these headlights. See if I can bring them back. I bought this little kit with like the little pad by hand because of the knobs that stick up off these headlights. And I've always wanted to try the little hand one and see how it works. I have a polisher, like a little handheld polisher electric one. So if this doesn't work, then I'll just hit that with the actual good one. I'm going to mask off the nose trim here, and we're going to clean it up and start on this and see how much we can bring these headlights back. So you can see they're pretty bad. So we'll just do one for now, and then we'll do the comparison to see how good they look. Alright, so usually if you put water on your headlight and it lightens up pretty good, see how right here it's not? This is actually on the inside of the headlight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that. But if you put water on it and it clears up pretty good like that, it usually doesn't, it usually means you don't need to sand it. Call me crazy, We're just going to clean it up, and I'm going to give it a little polish and see how it does. I also need to still mask off this nose cone, nose guard, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to put some tape on here, and I'm just going to hit it with my polishing wheel with some polish and see how it looks. I don't think it needs to be sanded down. I think that's actually going to give me a bunch of extra work that I don't need to do. So we got some polishing compound here. This is actually a glass polishing compound, but it works really good. I've been using it on plastic for a while. Alright. Trying to get this on there real smooth before I go crazy with it, because it's just going to shoot it everywhere if you just like send it. I'm going to set it on speed 1. Let me recenter that. You can see it's pretty good. There's like crusties on there I'm gonna have to get off, but for the most part it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna clean this down real quick, see how it looks. This is probably gonna be good enough. Really, I probably should replace this headlight. Because the inside is ruined. I did look around to see if I could find some Euro lights, but pretty expensive. If I was keeping this car, I would definitely put Euro lights in it for sure. But since I'm not keeping it, I'm just trying to make it look good, man. And I would say that looks night and day different. And that's dry. That's perfectly dry. So I'd say these headlights are in decent shape. Better than I thought they were. Aside from like this one spot right there, it's like pretty much no fixing that without taking the headlight apart. But you see how it was before. And you can actually see the lens now. So I'm going to do this, repeat to the other side real quick, and we should have a really nice looking front end. Alright guys, so it's the final update on the BMW. I'm actually getting ready to go trade it. It's pretty much finished. Everything under the hood's pretty much done. We've got the new fog lights on, we got the headlights restored. Still needs front tires, but that's the new owner's problem. We got the brand new top on it. So this is a brand new top I replaced myself. I don't think I recorded it, man. A lot of the stuff I started like not recording. I was just not having enough time to keep up with everything. So I'm just kind of going over everything real quick. But we got swapped the steering wheel out, put a new cover on the glove box. We got the rear panels in. Those are the old door panels I'm giving to the new owner. We're actually going to trade it. I got a newer armrest put on it. The radio's tucked in and working. Everything on the cluster is now working. The car's, I mean, pretty great actually. I'm giving the guy a bunch of free parts with it. Got a full set of Bilstein struts to go with it. There's only half of a set of lowering springs. I don't know where the front springs are. I think I only received half of them, but a bunch of spare parts and stuff. So we're gonna go trade this car. See what we trade it for. But yeah, I listed the car for $3 grand. Had a bunch of people hit on it, but just like people flaking, man. They're just too afraid of a 30-year-old European car, and I don't blame them, especially a convertible. But let's go get this thing traded. By the way, if you like this style of content, this is like the longest video I've made. If you like this, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. I don't know. Give me a reason to keep making this content, because I'll go pick up more cars like this and do an hour-long video if people are going to watch it. It's just, I'm just testing out new stuff, trying things out. So I appreciate you guys watching that.